You're listening to After Hours FM.
Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Welcome to After Hours FM
The second episode.
about superstars and sustainability. So first of all, I want to give a disclaimer
Okay.
because I'm going to be looking at this iPad a lot.
Oh yeah, she did a crazy amount of research.
I did my best for this one.
It's actually insane.
Because I wanted to have our statements backed up with facts.
Literally, our last episode was child's play compared to this.
Literally, because it was like more opinion and
Yeah,
stuff, and
it
I
was-
wanted us to have, because I feel like we were joking about how we weren't super informed because we only
Yeah.
watched one Twilight movie.
Yeah,
but okay.
exactly.
But this time we are informed.
Super informed.
But I'm not saying that we know better, because if you find something that I said wrong or that we said wrong or whatever, please let us know.
Yeah, but we can also provide sources. So
Yeah.
if you question anything,
I can give you a whole reference list.
yeah,
Trust.
so don't hesitate to ask.
Okay. So I want to start off by stating the problem, because I can understand that people don't really understand the issue, because I would not know this if I...
No, we didn't know this before. At least
Yeah.
I was shocked when I read this. Like, this is crazy.
It's crazy. So I'm going to be narrowing it down from the creative sector, but I feel like let's first state the obvious, which is that the creative sector is so fashion, music, film, whatever. It's kind of a double-edged sword, if you will,
in the sense that
it contributes to the economy. I mean, Hollywood, Bollywood, it's like they bring a lot of money. It fosters culture since day and age. Like, it's been that way since like the medieval times or whatever. It brings people together, and it is there for societal change. People use it to convey their political messages. However, it also is a pretty wasteful sector. I feel like fashion, people already know that that's super wasteful. I feel like people talk about that a lot. I have one statistic here. That's that the fashion sector alone accounts for 10% of global carbon emissions and ranks as the second largest consumer of water.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Second largest consumer of water is actually insane.
Yeah, but because people already kind of know about the fashion sector being wasteful, I don't really want to go into that too much.
Okay.
Because what gagged me more is the music sector.
Damn.
So we're going to be talking about that more. But yeah, the creative sector is also, it generates incredible wealth. I mean, the people in LA, the Hollywood superstars.
Oh my god.
They are rich as hell.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily the problem, but this generates even more waste because they can just kind of escape the waste that they cause. Like, the consequences of that won't affect them. And also they can create more waste by using things such as private jets, for example.
Foreshadowing. Subtle foreshadowing.
So yeah. And then we're also going to be kind of talking about how fair this is. So, like, art is super important for society. How much can we expect from the artist? What's fair? Who suffers and who should pay for that? It's a really complicated topic.
It is.
So, as I just said about the fashion sector, I found something else that was pretty interesting about streaming. Streaming music is super wasteful, which is...
Who would have known?
Literally, I did not know that. I mean, I knew about it, kind of, but I did not know the extent of it. So I found this statistic by the University of Glasgow, which says that the song Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo had so many Spotify streams that it produced a greater impact than flying from London to New York and back 4,000 times.
And I feel like this is so crazy because when people use technology, I feel like they don't even realize how environmentally damaging that can be, because it's not like you see what you're using or you feel what you're using. It's nothing material, it's just a little screen. So how bad can that be?
And nobody really talks about this.
No,
I feel like I
exactly.
haven't heard anybody talk about this.
I've never heard about streaming being bad for the environment. I never even thought about like doing like me being on Spotify potentially being a damaging thing. Or like, you know, when people upload like their Spotify end of the year
They're
Spotify.
Spotify Wrapped.
Yeah, they're Spotify Wrapped, and everyone's so proud of like how many hours of music they listen to or minutes of
Low-key, that's
music.
me. That used to be me.
Yeah, and that's cool. Like obviously you're going to be proud of your hobby and your interests. But the fact that that also means that you've caused like crazy environmental damage is kind of funny.
It's insane, but
It's so
we're not trying
ironic.
to slander anybody though,
No,
because
cuz
we didn't know about this either.
exactly. I feel like this is completely new information.
Literally. And also, I want to say that this is not just carbon emissions, because obviously, flying, we're talking usually about carbon emissions. This is also about waste production, water, because those data centers and where everything is stored or whatever, they require water to keep it, cool and everything. And then uh in festivals, I mean, I feel like everybody knows about festivals being wasteful, but I feel like it's worth mentioning too, because it makes sense if you think about it, but I feel like people don't really think about it,
Mm.
because I also didn't really think about it until I looked it up again. But I mean, at festivals, it's like there's so much like trash. Everybody's trash is everywhere. I mean, cans of soda, alcohol, whatever. Again, water,
Yeah, oh my
energy
god.
used for the stages and the lights and stuff. it
Mm.
really it really is crazy. And then
Yeah.
touring is also so wasteful,
Yeah.
which we are gonna go in depth about in a second.
And again, that's like easier to imagine than streaming because it's actually like you can see it with your own eyes, all of the material consequences that it has. Whereas streaming, it's literally on your phone.
And streaming includes downloaded music from Spotify.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So if
Because
it's downloaded, it's still streaming.
yeah, it still counts your streams. However, like it is better if you've downloaded tracks to just put like close your Wi-Fi and then listen to it without Wi-Fi, because then you listen to the downloaded tracks, and instead of like streaming and it sends to Spotify, streaming and it sends to Spotify, streaming and it sends to Spotify, you just stream, that those streams accumulate, and then after you turn your Wi-Fi back on, the streams get sent to Spotify all at
Really?
once. Yeah, it's kind of a weird process.
I didn't know about
It's
that.
slightly better to listen to downloaded music when your Wi-Fi is off on Spotify, but it still counts as streams. So it's still a bit damaging. It's just less damaging.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. I didn't
if
know
that
about
makes
that.
sense.
It does, but I didn't know about that.
Every day you learn something new every day.
Okay.
But the thing with like stuff stuff seemingly not being environmentally unfriendly, or people not even coming close to think about that, I feel like the same goes for AI, and we will talk about that in another episode, so we're not gonna like touch upon that right now. But just so you know, it's basically a similar effect with streaming, but of course way less, to a way
Yeah.
less extent, basically.
Okay. Now, the $1 million question, which is what we will be debating throughout this episode,
Ooh.
which the so we have the importance of music, and we're going to debate the fact whether that excuses the amount of waste.
Yeah, and this is super
All
interesting
right.
because
Yeah. It is. It's so dude, whatever. Okay. First of all, the importance of music, right? It goes back to like historically, music and art, but we're going to be talking about music, so I'm just going to be saying music has been so crucial to specific groups, to everybody really. But I mean, for example, the whole genre of the blues, that originated in America when I think it was right after slavery, or maybe right when it was
At
still
the end.
happening.
Oh yeah.
But it African Americans basically created that to cope, and it was their thing, right? Um and it originates from a time of oppression, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and it was used to tell their stories and let their voices be heard and literally just process their experience.
Yeah, and literally just get through their lives, which was
Yeah,
not easy at the time.
still
Also,
isn't.
still isn't, unfortunately, but let's not delve into that right now. But also, it's used as a political instrument. So for example, Kendrick Lamar and Childish Gambino still portray certain narratives, for example, about um, issues of racial injustices, police brutality, other inequalities. Music can be a driver of political and social change. It can be used um, in revolutions. Like
Yeah.
it can change society, really.
Yeah, and even when you think about going to protests, people often chant stuff at protests and they repeat stuff. That's a form of music as well. That's a form
Hmm.
of singing, and that's a form of making a message stronger. And they even did this before people started writing stuff to like tell each other stories, because music makes you remember things better and it makes you like not forget certain parts because it's all in a song. So it's been relevant. It's still incredibly relevant. We couldn't live without it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of songs out there too that people don't know are politically charged songs. For example, Zombie by the Cranberries, very famous song,
Yeah.
but it was used with the war with the IRA,
Oh my
in the
god.
UK. Um
See, I feel like everyone knows this song, but I don't think many people know this.
yeah,
Or maybe they
I
do and
mean,
I just
if you
didn't.
think about it, it's pretty obvious. I mean, she does sing like with their tanks, with their bombs, so it makes sense that
Yeah.
it's about a
A
war.
war.
But I can understand that people don't know that it's that war specifically. But she also sings since 1916, I think, or 1960. No,
Mm.
1916, I believe. Either way, she sings a year, and that's it. It it correlates with the whole IRA,
Oh my god.
UK, England situation. Um. So yeah, more.
Oh, and like songs like Who Let the Dogs Out. Like I feel like a lot of people don't know. Like everyone knows the song, but it's about men catcalling women and making them feel
Right.
unsafe. And it's literally Who Let the Dogs Out. And a funny story is that a few days ago, a
Yeah.
man was screaming those lyrics in the metro and literally bothering us with it. So very
Literally
ironic.
jump scare.
Super interesting how political meanings or social meanings can just go over people's heads like that.
Music festivals and benefit concerts. We didn't talk about that, which I also learned about when doing research. But they often serve as platforms for raising awareness and funds for social causes. A good example of that is Global Citizen, which
Oh.
I didn't know about. But they apparently make money and raise awareness for humanitarian causes. And also, when the wildfires in LA were happening, I don't remember what it was called exactly, but there was a concert kind of to raise money for to help with the
Oh
fires.
my god.
Yeah. So that's also an important.
Aspect of music nowadays.
Yes.
Mm.
So now, moving on. Who suffers?
From the environmental consequences.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely not the people who, like the rich people who create the music that
No.
generates
No, no, no.
the enormous amounts of streams.
No. Definitely not. So I wrote down the poorer, the more suffering. And unfortunately, I feel like that's correct.
Yeah.
I also think um specifically it's like maybe not even necessarily the poor, because it's not necessarily when you're poor you face these consequences. But for example, in geographical areas where um for example, water is being used to cool data centers or whatever, they suffer a lot because the resources and minerals are also being taken from their earth and stuff, and then they don't have a lot to live off of, and that's when the poor, the more suffering goes because they can't get out of that.
Yeah, literally.
um
And yeah, exactly. Like if you're rich, you can just move away, but if you're not, then you don't have a choice and you're just gonna have to suffer.
yeah, I feel like most of the time it's also the people who are not part of the problem.
Yeah, I agree. Or even if they are part of the problem, like imagine someone lives in an area like that and they listen to a lot of music. It's not because they're aware of what they're doing. And it's not like streams are everything, like are the cause of everything,
Yeah,
every environmental problem.
like they're not, if they're only streaming music, I feel like they're
Like
not.
they're not
That's
contributing
not
to
the
their
issue.
own freaking
Yeah,
downfall.
no, 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 no. Now we're gonna talk about who is responsible.
Yes.
So I feel like we have three people who we could point fingers at:
Oh.
the artist,
Mm.
the government,
Mm.
and the consumer.
Hmm.
Before we start, I just want to say, because I was curious, because I feel like blame the government, right? When all fails, blame the
Blame the
government.
government. Yeah.
But
The government is always a little bit at fault, at least.
yeah, that's true. But I just wanted to know if they were, if they already, if they already did stuff. And I
Mm.
found some things. So initiatives like the European Green Deal and Creative Europe fund eco-conscious projects blending art and sustainability. And you also have other organizations that provide resources to help artists and institutions reduce emissions.
But I feel like Europe is not the place with the largest, like,
That's true because
emissions and with the biggest
I also
artists.
heard that the they have these conferences, right, in Europe
Yeah.
with, I don't remember what it's called in English, but there was one in Paris in one year, and they talked all about the creative sector in there.
Oh,
Yeah, so they
okay.
do talk about it, but again, I don't know if Europe's really, but I feel like they can make a big difference.
They can make a difference for sure, but definitely it would have been way more impactful if this happened in the USA, where the music industry is obviously at its peak.
Yeah. I also feel like it's just not fair to point fingers at one party. I feel like
Okay, fair
I
enough.
feel like everybody needs to do their part. So that's
Yeah.
the artist, the government, but also the consumer.
Yeah,
So
I
that
agree.
includes us, I fear,
Yeah.
because we are also a part of the problem.
Yeah, but like there are solutions. So,
That's true. That's true. But and I don't really know, like, I'm saying consumer,
yeah.
but what, we can't ask people to not stream anymore. I feel like
Yeah,
that's not
exactly.
fair.
And especially, so I'm part of like the K-pop community online. And one thing about the K-pop community is they don't play about streaming, okay? People will be streaming no matter what the consequences are because they just want to show support to their idols even if they learned that this is so environmentally damaging. That wouldn't stop them, I think, because a lot, like a big part of the music industry revolves around streams.
Yeah.
Awards are given based on streams. Um, recognition is based on streams. Revenue based on streams.
But would you then say that we should change that system?
Yeah, for sure.
But
Because
I
I feel
don't.
like that would make a big difference both on the artist side and the consumer side, and in general, like in the industry. Like if downloading music was more accepted, or if like solely listening to physical copies of the music was more accepted, and the artist could still benefit from like all of the money they make, but also still gain recognition for their talent and art, I think that would make a huge difference, and that would be amazing, but it's kind of impossible in this day and age.
True, but I feel like it's also kind of fair to to give awards based off of streams.
Yeah,
I feel
it
like,
makes sense.
yeah, so maybe it's like, maybe decenter the amount of streams but still make it count, because I feel like it would not be fair to
Not
not
look
look
at
at
it.
streams.
Yeah, but I think streaming these days has just gone way too far, because also in K-pop communities, it's low-key normalized to just stream a new album, in the sense that you just turn it on and don't turn it off all day long. Even if you're not listening, you just connect your earphones and you just let it stream so that they gain more streams, because that's just
Mm,
better for their
responsible
career.
streaming.
Responsible stream,
Responsible streaming.
mindful
Mindful
streaming.
streaming. I feel like that's a thing. And also, um, so I feel like it's also not fair to ask people to stream because I feel like to take music away is
No, that's
crazy.
insane. We need music, as we have
Literally,
discussed
yeah.
before. Like, that's no.
But I we also looked at um so you have what's it called? Records and
CDs.
CDs. And so I was I don't know. What I was thinking maybe that's somehow more sustainable. But so apparently I did apparently um
Apparently. According
so
to my research.
according to my research, streaming an album for just 5 hours generates as much carbon as the plastic used in a CD. Okay, so if you listen to an album for more than 5 hours, it would make more sense for the planet to
Buy a CD.
yeah. And then for vinyl records, this is 17 hours. So it's a little bit more, but I feel like again it's doable.
Yeah, especially if you really love an album. It's just better to get it in vinyl format.
Yeah. And also, if songs were downloaded and not repeatedly streamed, if all songs were downloaded and not repeatedly streamed, there would be an 80% reduction in CO2 emissions from the second listening onward.
Oh my god, 80?
80, but I feel like that's so not realistic. However, though, with the Y2K aesthetic on the rise, I feel like people now are now more than ever downloading music. You know those little like MP3 players?
Yeah,
I feel like I don't think people use them right now, but for example, CDs are coming back.
true.
Records are coming
Oh my
back.
god, yeah. Like, people are
S-
collecting them now.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
like I feel like it's not far fetched for people to start actually downloading all their music and putting it on those little MP3 because they're
True.
cute.
I know someone who is a really big fan of Kanye West's music, but as we all know, Kanye West is a bit of a questionable person, a little bit. So he didn't, like, after his recent things that he said, he really didn't want to financially support that man anymore. So he really decided to boycott him, and he decided to just collect all of his music physically and then download it onto like an iPod, and then he can listen to all of his songs because he's still a really big fan of the music, but he is not supporting Kanye financially
That's
anymore.
smart.
That's like such a good.
But I feel like even then, even like with the Kanye West example, but
Yeah,
also for example with the Y2K come on the rise and people collecting records and actually listening to them, having record players, it will not substitute streaming. Like people will do that and stream.
and stream. But I feel like that's also partly because people literally do not know about this, like, environment, about this unsustainable aspect of streaming.
Yeah,
Like, people don't know about this, and I feel like if they found out and if they learned more about it, at least there would be a huge decrease in the
definitely.
amount of
Well,
streams.
do you think so?
I really think so, because I feel like downloading at least should be almost as easy as streaming. um it's just that a lot of people don't know how to download.
Mhm. So all in all, it's pretty complicated because you have these policies that are made. They could be made more, you know, clearly and more refined, but then again, I feel like that might impose on the creative sector and the music industry, and obviously we don't want that because um it's a creative place, it's a creative sphere, so you don't want to, have them have to
Limit them
adhere.
too
Yeah,
much, yeah.
that's not fair. Then also consumers, I feel like consumers can only do so much. I think the main thing maybe is to spread awareness
Oh,
because
definitely.
people don't know about it, but
Yeah.
you obviously nobody's gonna make rules about how much music you can listen to. Oh,
No.
stream responsible. That could be like a thing
Yeah.
for like raising
Yeah,
awareness,
like
a
only
tagline or something.
yeah, like only stream when you like are on your way to somewhere and you have to listen to music. But when you're at
Or when you're
home,
just listening to music. You mean
what?
just in general, only stream when you're actually listening to it instead of
For sure, for sure. And also just like when you're at home and you have a CD of an album, just listen to the CD, guys. No, cuz I have some CDs, but I rarely reach out to them, but like after learning this, I definitely will be using them more.
yeah. I also feel like we're in an interesting position because we're, making a podcast
Literally.
and we're
So,
also uploading on
yeah,
Spotify.
and streams would definitely benefit us, but
Yeah, but then again, the whole environment, like we're also,
contributing to, yeah.
yes,
But at the same time, like, hello, like, not even 100 people listen to this.
true,
And the thing
true.
is, I
I feel
think,
like it's different with podcasts too, because you can't have a
yeah,
podcast on a CD or a record.
yeah. And it's streamed way less often in the sense that most people only listen to an episode
True,
once.
true, true, true.
So
Good
it
one.
it is not really more sustainable to download it or have it on a CD or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So streaming is less of an issue when it comes to podcasts and videos and movies. But
But one thing we haven't talked about yet is artist responsibility.
ooh,
So what is fair to expect of artists? Before we delve into that, because I feel like we should discuss that in our example that we're going to talk about, I
ooh,
feel like it's worth mentioning that now more than ever, we have like there's the most innovation in biodegradable materials and like renewable energy than ever before. So there's now more than ever more there's now more opportunity than ever to engage in these sustainable practices. However, the reason why people don't always engage in them is because they often come with extra costs. They're usually more expensive. And I feel like this is also very intrinsic to the creative sector, other sectors as well, but um, resistance of change within traditional systems. I feel like people want to
ooh.
stick to what they know.
Yeah, stick to what they know because that's classic. That's more
Hmm.
respectable. That's
That's how you
tradition.
make real art, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, there's some stuff we can do to fix that. Like again, awareness. I feel like that's how you can change that, and over time, I feel like that just takes time for people to be like, oh right, this might actually be a good idea.
For sure.
All right, so now on to our example. Um, I titled it "Private Jets and Tour Sustainability." So we already kind of foreshadowed it, but we're gonna be
Yeah.
talking about Taylor Swift and
Surprise.
Billie Eilish. We're gonna talk about the Eras tour and we're gonna talk about the Hit Me Hard and Soft tour. Before we talk about it, we should make it clear we are not pitting women up against each other.
Yeah, that's not what we're trying to
That's the
do.
last thing we're trying to do. Because I mean, we just proved we support both. We support both. I support both. And this is not about who's better and who's worse. It's just we're just trying to take two.
Yeah, we're just trying to show two examples of how a tour can be
Yeah, and
approached.
they both have huge successful
Success.
tours.
Yeah.
It makes sense that we talk about these two.
Exactly.
And I like their music. I wanted to do research about them. Sue me.
Period.
All right. So I first wanted to talk about some accomplishments because I feel like that's worth mentioning too. So the Eras tour, I feel like I don't even really need to tell you. It has broken so many records. It's crazy.
Fork found in the
Fork
kitchen.
Fountain Kitchen. I don't even have them all written down. I'm just gonna mention a couple, but it's become the highest grossing tour of all time. Crazy. It sold a total of over 2.2078 billion dollars in tickets, according to the production company. And the tour helped turn Taylor into the first musician to become a billionaire solely from songwriting and performing. Crazy.
Insane.
Also, I found this statistic that fans traveled a distance of 338 miles for the Eras tour, which I feel like is worth noting because that also probably contributes to the to the sustainability of the tour
Unfortunately.
and the consumer responsibility maybe.
Yeah.
Then the Hit Me Hard and Soft tour, it's still going on, so I feel like there's a lot still coming in terms of accomplishments and stuff. But in 2025, she won Pop Tour of the Year, Favorite Touring Artist, and Best Sustainability Initiative. Um, and also in Sydney, she broke the long-standing single event attendance record previously set by Justin Timberlake, and in Prague, the tour broke the single event attendance record previously set by Metallica.
Damn.
Yeah. So both really really successful tours. Now let's talk about the environmental implications. So I feel like Taylor gets a lot of shit for her private jet travel.
Yeah, for some reason, like this is kind of a funny thing for me because I agree that we should shame people for using private jets,
Mhm.
but I've never seen people hate on anybody but her. And I think that she is not the number one
She's
person we should
not.
be hating
She's
on
not.
when it comes to this issue.
She's also not the number one polluter.
Exactly. So why are we just talking about her?
Exactly.
I'm not saying stop talking about Taylor using private jets. I'm just saying start talking about,
Shame them all
yeah,
equally.
shame them all equally, guys. Come on.
But I did find a statistic about the private jet travel that we should mention. In the 2024 leg of the tour, she in that leg alone, her private jet travel accounted for 511,000 kilograms of carbon dioxide, which is the equivalent to the annual emissions of 122 gas powered cars. She has
Oh,
reportedly
reported.
made efforts to offset some of the environmental impact of the tour, with her team purchasing carbon credits equivalent to twice the emissions of her private jet. Although, like, this is alleged, I guess, and I think carbon credits are like planting new trees and compensating for carbon emissions. I think that's what
Yeah,
they mean by that. It is alleged, but I feel like that should also be mentioned because I feel like there's a lot of polluters that don't do anything.
that's true. But the thing about this is that it mostly just it's gonna help in the future, but it's not helping right now. And in the future,
True, true, true. And like
who knows how helpful this
if
will
you
be.
plant trees, then it's not like the trees aren't gonna just magically pop out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Also, this is not about the climate, but I feel like it's worth mentioning. She donated consistently to communities she's visited. So for example, food banks, and also this is also a little bit controversial, her activism. Because she has spoken out about, like, for example, in the lover era specifically, she talked a lot about queer rights, the LGBTQ community. She really spoke up as a feminist against political issues, with her being a Democrat.
Mm.
But now she doesn't really do it as much, and I feel like there's always been a lot of discourse about whether or not it was um
Performative.
yeah.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I feel like right now, people would benefit a lot more from her activism than back then because right now rights are actively being stripped
But she's
away.
not being an activist right now.
No, exactly. So I think it's good that she was on her activist game back
Mm-hmm.
then. I just wish it would have continued in an era where women's rights and queer rights are being actively stripped away in the country she lives in and represents.
Also, last thing about Eras Tour, she worked with local vendors to source sustainable materials for merchandise and reduce plastic usage at venues. So that's
Okay.
something, right?
Yeah,
That's
for
something.
sure.
Okay, moving on to Hit Me Hard and Soft. I want to say right off the bat, when I got there to the venue, she played it before you entered the stadium, I mean the arena. And then also when we were just waiting for the concert to start, there was this whole video about what her and her team do for the climate and what sustainability practice they employ and what you could do, like us as the consumer. And um like just so much. I have a list. It's not at all everything. I linked the She has a whole page on her website about what they do. So there's truly so much, which is really impressive. Um she has a lot of sustainability partners. She's also partnered with Google Maps to help you find the most sustainable way of getting to her show. She promotes taking public transport. She also on Google that she has a whole list of vegan restaurants in every city that she tours, and also thrift stores.
Oh,
So
that's
just
very good.
yeah. Um they also have the free water refill stations that are available at every show. You can have a single like a good plastic bottle, just a single use one that you don't have to throw away that you can keep using. Um there's a whole eco action village. There's support and feed. She promotes plant-based food during
See,
her
I
tour.
think this is such so telling. Like, guys, like, hello, where are the standards? For example, a lot of celebrities do donate to good causes or do environmentally friendly things, or like take action to make their tour more sustainable, but then they don't make it a big part of like, they don't make it a big deal to like talk about this or show people that they did this. For example, those alleged reports that Taylor planted the trees, I feel like if those weren't alleged, if she like made it a bigger point, then people would be talking less about the private jets and maybe would be talking more
But if
about
she
her.
made it a bigger point, it would seem performative.
See, but I think stuff like this should be a new standard.
Do you think that though? Do you think
Yeah,
this is fair
to
to
expect of everyone who is as big as her. Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not to this extent, but I think people should take more action to be more sustainable and be transparent about the action they take. I think that should be normalized.
I feel like I don't know. I think it's tricky because I feel like we have two extents here cuz Taylor also has her whole um she has a million variants of each album that she puts out,
Oh
like
my
a
god,
different like
yeah.
like so many records.
I thought K-pop was crazy with the amount of versions of albums, but when I heard that her new album has like 30 or something or
I
even
don't
more,
know, but a lot, yeah.
what?
They get those for to collect, because why else would you
Yeah.
get four records of the same
Why
album?
would you get 30 versions of the
Yeah,
same
so
album?
it's like
And
it
also that people don't make this because they were driven by creativity. People make this because they are driven by greed. There's no other
the greed
reason.
they talk about in the Bible.
This
I
is
don't know,
literally
I
the
feel like
greed
you
they
can
talk about in the
argue because it's
Bible.
like they look pretty. Like the records look pretty, and I'm not like, guys, please, like
Capitalism final
I'm not
boss.
justifying it. I'm just trying to approach this from different perspectives, is what I'm trying to
The
do.
capitalistic
Well, it
perspective.
exists, so I feel like it should be
Girl,
mentioned.
that is the only perspective there is. Again, like they are pretty, but is that the purpose of the creativity of an album?
Of
Is
course,
it to
no,
create 30 different pretty versions of the
no,
same?
but that's why people buy so many.
Yeah,
There is
no,
no
but
other
I meant
reason.
greed as in from the artist side to make revenue. And yeah,
Oh,
also from the consumer side to have freaking everything.
true. No, I agree. And like, but I feel like there's a nuance between Billy's sustainability practices and Taylor's
Yeah, you can fall somewhere in between.
unsustainability
Yeah,
practices.
true.
And also, I feel like they're contributing to this huge cause, which is making music and making art that helps people around the world. Like, it truly, art saves lives, music
Yeah, it
saves life. And
does.
I do really believe that.
Mm.
So I feel like they
And
do good by just
yeah,
making music and being, speaking up about certain stuff. But I feel like just the artist and their brand and the music, it it makes a lot of impact on society. And I feel like, would it be asking too much if we ask those same artists to, speak up about important political issues, and then we also want them to speak up about everything, because why would they speak up about this and not that? And then we also want them to be sustainable, but then we also want them to go on tour because they need to be connected to their fans. So I feel like
Yeah, not
you
gonna
can't ask
lie.
all of that.
There's I forgot her name, but the actress that plays Bonnie in the Vampire
I don't
Diaries,
know that.
but they asked her like, "Oh, you speak up so much about political issues. Do you think your colleagues should do the same?" Because obviously her colleagues are huge actors and actresses. And she said that she speaks up about this because this is one of her passions. This is one of the things she cares about, and she doesn't think that people who don't know anything about politics should be speaking about that just for the sake of it. And I really agree. And I think, for example, we don't ask brain surgeons to make political statements, and we don't ask um freaking historians to talk about biological issues. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I don't think that every celebrity should be talking about every single issue that exists. But I think that there are some issues that they contribute to that they do need to acknowledge. And sustainability is one of those
I
things.
I think sustainability is fair to ask. I feel like
Yeah.
to some extent if you tour a lot as an artist, you have
Then you
money
can't
to
ignore
tour,
it.
you
Yeah.
get money from ticket sales. So I feel like you should do something at least.
I believe that that is a standard that they should be held up to.
Yeah, and then the whole capitalist like making 30 CDs and vinyls, that's definitely pushing it. That's not great. Like I feel like we should
That's
normalize
bad.
that.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um and I feel like the environment, I feel like that's everybody at some point is going to suffer because of that. So I feel like it's fair to make it everybody's problem. So I feel like every artist should do whatever they can.
I agree, but don't speak about things that you have zero knowledge about
Yeah,
because
I feel like activism is different.
yeah,
I feel like people should be able to make music without having to be an activist or speak up. Like people can make music to make music, don't you think?
yeah, I agree. I do, however, think that all music inherently has like a
I
political
agree with
impact.
that. I agree with
So
that.
I do think that artists need to realize that and also realize the platform they have.
There's some nuance to it, of course.
Yeah.
Bring nuance back, guys.
Yeah. Like if it's a bigger celebrity, there should be higher
Yes.
standards. If they
Because a
do
bigger
more damaging
celebrity
stuff.
makes they do yeah, they do more, they make more not political, environmental impact, but they also make more money because they are more popular. They go on tour more because they're more popular. So
Exactly.
then it's fair if they do more for the planet.
Yeah, they should be.
They should. I mean, God. Wait, that's the saying. Gives his strongest. God gives.
Gives his hardest battle to the strongest
There it is. There
soldiers.
it is. There it is. All right. So that's our. That's all. That's our final verdict
Yeah,
then.
that is our
And
final verdict
okay,
today.
so more, more.
More what? More nuance?
No,
Oh,
artists should be more mindful
yeah.
and be more active in terms of their climate impact.
Yeah, and it should be proportional to their
Yeah,
damage, fame.
but also consumers should practice mindful streaming.
Yeah, they should be made aware of this issue
Yeah,
and react accordingly.
and we're also calling ourselves out here.
Yeah. And guys, the thing is that we never have to sacrifice music or concerts for the environment. We can do both.
Yeah. So we learned something.
For sure. And we hope you did too.
Mm-hmm.
And that was our episode today.
Yeah. So we would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, let us know in the comments um what you thought about this, if you agree, if you disagree, if you have any other ideas for us to talk about in the future, let us know. um if you have anything to add, we would love to hear it.
Yeah. So we're just After Hours FM on Spotify and YouTube. We also have TikTok and Instagram.
Link down below. You can see some behind the scenes there. We're
Mm-hmm.
very funny on there. So
Afterhoursfm.podcast.
yes, in both platforms.
And also, you could reach out to us through there.
Yes.
We're very active and we would love to know your opinions, thoughts, feedback,
Anything, guys, anything.
anything. So, episodes out every 2 weeks,
Yeah, and next
5
episode,
p.m.
yeah, Fridays, CET.
Hmm.
Next episode is going to be Halloween themed. So,
Stay tuned. It's going to be fun.
yes. Bye.
Bye, Queens.